Hello and welcome to This Contains Garlic. You're here with your host Georgia Garlic and
Mark Garlic.
today we are in our new office recording this to bring light to a lot of weight loss myths that we just feel like need to be uncovered. We get asked a lot. You can probably all imagine like social media questions. Sometimes we don't even answer some of them. No offence if you're one of those. It's just sometimes we can't even bring light to what we've been asked to on social media because I just don't think it's even worth it. But in the sense of what we deal with navigating.
How do I increase my stamina?
Oh, fuck off. Honestly.
We get asked that.
Do you know how many
every
questions we get
single
asked
time.
about like running? Do I look like I fucking run? I don't know. Like all I seem to do is just lift really heavy things in the gym for like a good amount of reps. Do you know what I mean? That's about all I do, yeah? And you're asking me about running. When have you ever seen me on a fucking run? Well,
Yeah.
I'm on a treadmill every day, well, a walking pad, but I only interval run like fucking once a week if I can be asked. Do you know what I mean? I literally do absolutely nothing other than steps and then just strength train. And maybe a spin session, but again, that annoyed me. We're back at the annoyance of spin. So if you've wondered where Spin Diaries is, it's because I'm just annoyed with it. So
Why
actually,
did
you were annoyed with it. I wasn't. You didn't like the woman, let's be honest. Well, you
Throw
didn't.
me under the bus. No, I found her playlist to be very monotonous. Just the same music over and over again, the same structure. It was just very predictable. And the overall like energy compared to other instructors was not as what's the word? I don't want to say intoxicating, but it like a little bit more like encouraging is the word I'm looking for.
Encouraging? Did you need to be encouraged in spin?
Well, I feel like,
I
with
didn't.
the
Fuck,
other,
it's a
when
bicycle.
you have a new playlist and, the structure's not completely different, but just a little bit more challenging in certain elements, and a little less predictable, then and the energy in the room is a little bit more positive and more energetic, then it reflects in your output, don't you think?
No, I don't agree with that. I just
No?
focus on my own shit, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I have weird
guess then you could just
fixations. So if I don't go
essentially
in there and do exactly what I think I'm capable of doing, I
No.
leave feeling like I might as well have not been there. I'm genuinely one of those people that just gets fixated on having to reach a certain that's why it's probably like I'm so obsessed with like target. I get so fixated on like targets. It's the same when I track my calories. It's the same with how I manage money as well. I get so fixated on just like holding certain amounts of money, and then like I do have impulsive traits. Fuck me, do I? I just had an impulsive trait.
When?
You're like that. Fuck what? When?
Hopefully it's a Christmas present for me.
Well, we were just discussing this. Like, we were thinking, okay, so hats off to this hotel, because, oh, my mum's going to listen to this and get really upset, but we were
You're about to dob yourself in.
I'm about to dog myself in. I hadn't even brought it out with her.
Oh,
We're going on holiday with the family. We don't need to be over-familied. Do you know what I mean?
No, don't
Like,
say that.
No, my mum knows that. It's
Don't
too
say
much for me.
that.
I don't like hugging and family
say
and, it's just like, let's keep it all just neutral,
No.
reserved. That's like I like to describe my relationship. Reserved.
I think
like obviously
that
have a great
we
relationship,
should,
but just reserved.
Do you think that we should take like board games and like games to play when we go on holiday? Like 30 seconds.
I'm talking about Christmas. Why are you talking about board games? Like you're boring me. Well, honestly, I'm just a bit ill at the moment.
Good, and I don't feel any.
No, I've obviously still trained like a
No.
fucking savage. Was bench
Yeah.
pressing higher numbers today.
Yeah,
Push
you
past because I'm not that ill. I literally just
No.
sound like I'm ill, but I'm not actually ill.
Yeah, you just need to take a teaspoon of cement and just harden up,
I don't fucking need to harden up anything. Who's got up at the same time every fucking day and gone to work? Who has
I
to
bet
do
you
that?
I could do more push-ups than you right now.
You said to me after the gym today, I wish you called me daddy. And I said, until you financially fucking support me, I'm calling you nothing than an arsehole.
I was only joking, because if you did call me daddy, I'd really find that very strange.
Really?
Considering you call your father daddy. That'd be weird.
I'm not going to lie, I love my dad so much, but I actually find it maybe a little bit weird calling him daddy now.
Yeah, I feel like people have really bastardized.
Because I just feel like they fucked it, haven't
they
they?
really have.
Mummy,
I think
fine,
there's like
because Mummy's
think,
always
like,
been like...
maybe daddy up until like the age of like 9 or 10, and then after that it's a bit weird.
No, in certain generations it's not weird. So like my mum calling her father daddy is not as weird as me calling my father daddy. Probably
Yeah,
because like
that's
I
true.
literally know people that are dating people my father's age.
That's true.
And they're having a whale of a time because the money's great.
The money's good. The money's
That
good.
pension they're clawing on.
Yeah, that pension. That,
They're clawing that they've got all their partners in these fucking financial...
yeah,
the life. I wish I was a boomer.
yeah, me too.
Christ,
Me
we were born in
too.
such the wrong generation. It's
too.
such a slog. And everybody just moans the whole time. And we've got all the platform to moan. And we're just surrounded by people moaning.
Yeah.
Like, I
But
feel like...
just people want to be heard because, you know.
Why? Fuck off. Just get on with your life.
Because
Like,
everyone's been told that they're unique and individual and that they're...
by who?
By society. That's what you grew
Society's
up... When you
who?
grew up as a small child, you were always told you're so special.
Not necessarily. Some people
You're
had
all
horrific
unique.
childhood.
You're all unique. You're all
I
special.
wasn't told that. I was bullied at fuck it. I was literally told that I was a cretin half my life.
Oh, do you want to talk about your experience?
Oh no, because I don't know whether they'll be listening to this.
I don't feel... this is the thing, is like we've come into contact with so many people that...
Oh,
and
everything
they're
just
like,
washes
oh,
over
you've
me
got a
afterward.
podcast. And we're like, yeah. And then they're like,
Oh, I
do
listen
you talk
to it.
about me? And then we're like, yeah.
I don't really talk about
Sometimes.
some... I haven't... I probably have spoken about them.
Yeah, you'd be survived.
No, I had like a 10-year... fuck off. No, okay, here we go. Right. When I left school, I had a very troublesome time. Like, I didn't manage to even complete my A-levels. I literally was just a fuckwit. Okay, anyway. Long story short, I was in a girl group, which was kind of like disjointed, to say the least. But I think at the age that we were, and me being me, as I've always been aware, I'm a very big people pleaser. I'm not a nasty person. I can take the piss out of you, but because I've spent my life, I literally have been bullied so much that I just don't want to ever bully somebody else because it's shit. Like, I'm a people pleaser. Yeah, because you are a fucking arsehole sometimes. Actually, can we just... Actually, do you know what I was talking about behind this? You know what? I have to get this off my chest. I'm going to have to do it now. So this week we had a raging argument, like raging to the point where I probably said, let's get divorced. And it was about, Mark was doing the washing up. Okay. And like every sink, no,
Yes,
fuck off. No,
we
okay.
got to the point of almost getting divorced because of
Yes, it's
washing
absolutely
out.
the most ridiculous
Georgia
thing. And I know I'm
was
irate because I'm due on my
spitting.
period. Yes. And I was irate because it doesn't make any
You had
logic in
white-
my brain.
You had white things.
It's
literally
white bits
coming
across
out
your
your
bits,
mouth,
spitting
like
out
that.
my mouth.
Yeah.
So, when I do the washing up, we have one side, okay, where the stuff goes, the dirty stuff, and then you've got the drying rack where there's the little lines in the surface, okay? So what you do is you take each item that needs to be washed, you wash it, and then you put it on the drying rack, okay? And then when you finished all of that, you either leave it on the drying rack, or you dry it up. Mark does it. He puts all the dirty stuff on the drying rack that's probably filthy, that's just had like cooks, okay? He then cleans each item, but after he's cleaned the item, he leaves it in the sink whilst he cleans the other items over it, and then he re-rinses, and then he dries up per item. So when he has a cup and he's washed it, he puts it back in, and then he'll stop, get a towel, he'll dry two things, and then he'll continue. He does it the absolute opposite of any common logic, and you just knew how to fucking annoy me that day, because you were like, you know what, you're gaslighting me. You actually said I was gaslighting you over, no, you can't take this because you're about to go, you're gaslighting me. You couldn't understand why.
It's just, I love how it's just, you're a dictator. So it's
I'm a dictator.
George's side of the story, or it didn't happen.
Babes,
But
I
carry on.
know I
No,
overreacted.
carry on. No,
I'm
let's listen to
saying...
your side of the story, and then we'll just take it as gospel. So please carry on.
Okay, now this is the problem, is that you're actually taking this irate. I said we had a huge argument because you can't ever take a fucking joke or have any common logic clearly. I was just saying it's backwards. It's the opposite of common logic to wash up.
Yes.
And it seriously irritated me.
Well, everyone in the whole building was aware of it.
Well, okay, well, you were just laughing now, but you go from laughing to not being able to understand because you don't understand when it's listed to you that is the incorrect way of doing it.
To what you just explained, and neither do I really want to flesh out washing the dishes that led to us having a massive argument because, to be honest, I think it's pretty irrelevant. But you are entitled to your opinion, which, is... I certainly won't wash the dishes that way again. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, it's not my fault you're so fucking sensitive. The reality is, Mark, is that I just was saying, why are you doing it that way? You're wasting water. You had tuna flakes all over shit that was already supposedly clean.
Because I didn't know that there was literally an operations manual for washing the dishes. And
yes, it's just...
Had I known you were going to go nuclear over me washing the dishes, then I would have adhered to the...
No, you told me you'll do it your way and I'll do it my way. That's what you told me. You didn't say you're going to follow, and that's also probably why I was irate.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is...
No, because I was just confused because I didn't know, who died and turned you into the dishwashing dictator, but...
Well,
but I would have.
I'm just saying. I think I said to you, "What are you doing?" That doesn't make any sense.
Some people would have just assumed, washing the dishes and cooking and stuff. You'd be like, "Oh, thanks," and then just moved on with your
fuck off!
evening.
You don't need a medal for washing the dishes. I do so much shit, and you only started washing the dishes when you started cleaning. And don't pretend like I didn't literally form you into. You didn't even own a toothbrush when we got together. I literally formed you into being this cleanliness person, Mark.
But that's a good thing, though.
Yes, so then don't blame the fact that I then don't clean and you do all the fucking housework. You've only just got the robotic Hoover to fucking work again. And then that's nobody's... And you're not doing that, are you?
What?
The robotic Hoover, it's doing it for you.
Well, if I did do the hoovering as well, then I'd pretty much be doing everything, do you know what I mean? So... Should we talk about dieting myths and
no, because you're fucking
things?
Annoying me. No, I don't know what this is. I'm just saying that you've got honestly an attitude problem that's real. It's a real issue with me right now. I'm gonna have to have a moment of silence for myself. No, genuinely, irate. That's the word. Anyway, no, we were actually talking about a reunion.
Yeah.
How did we get on to dishwashing?
Let's talk about your reunion though, because that's obviously a lot more formative in your pre-existence and your post-existence.
No, I didn't have a reunion. I was kind of when I left school, I didn't really carry any friendships back with it at all. And because I'm somebody that's incredibly self-sufficient, and I literally could probably run my own life by myself, probably actually by myself. I'd be able to be by myself so much. I love being by myself. Oh my God, I do love being by myself. And you're about to make me want it even more. You're making me want to be by myself so much. Honestly, I'm going to go on ChatGPT and spurt out fucking some papers right now because you're actually annoying me. You're fucking spitting at the microphone, you gross... I can be completely and utterly self-sufficient.
You can.
And trust me, because I'm going to be I'm a tourist now, I'm so stubborn I'm going to fucking show you. You can move out right now, and then I'll show you how self-sufficient I can be. You, however, let's talk about how you can't be self-sufficient. You don't know where anything is in the house. You have to ask me. How is that self-sufficient? We got a new number plate. Mark stuck it on the car. It fell off this morning. Supposedly, that was self-sufficient. He said that the tape that you got was totally sufficient, and it fell off. Yeah, okay, so if you've got anything more than just jokes and laughing, we're actually going to fall out after this podcast.
I haven't said anything. Why are you shouting? I haven't said a word.
Well, anyway... I met up with some girls that I went to school with, and it was it was a bit weird. It was after 10 years, and yeah. Mark thought
How did it make you feel?
I just think I've come across so many people in my life, and it seems really weird because I'm not somebody that's I'm not 60 years old, do you know what I mean? Yeah, I am still pretty young, and I have just come across so many different people in my life that when I come across people that maybe I knew before, I kind of just treat it the same. It's just like, cool. I, I'll be honest, like, I think it's going to be quite hard to, like I was super fucking, like, because some of those girls were vile, do you know what I mean? And I said that. I was like, you wondered why I brushed you under all with the same brush, is because half you didn't have a backbone and the other half of you were vile. So the reality is that combination in a girl group is just not very nice for those that are then people pleasers that struggle for not doing as like a dictator would. And people would struggle to believe that I wouldn't always have been a dictator in my life, Mark. You absolute prick. Anyway, but, you know, I just feel like, you know, and I said it, and I said, you know, there was reasons why we obviously stopped talking. And I said, if we hadn't, I would nowhere be close to where I am today, because like some of them who were not there, that I've obviously found out about, are all doing still what I got up to at that age, do you know what I mean? And they are no closer, or probably much closer, to fucking their life up, or already have fucked their life up quite significantly. And I just think, like, you know, and I said to all of them, I said, if there's going to be anything, it's a friendship. I'm not here for, like, to be fighting. It's literally a lunch, do you know what I mean? It's not bitchiness. We don't need gossip. If it's going to be anything, it's just a friendship, do you know what I mean? It's spending time with each other. I don't need to be part of a gossip. I don't need to be part of a group. It's just like, it would just be like, you know, I'm like too old. I had too many other people to manage in my life. My job is more of a priority. My life is more of a priority than having friendships with people that just don't offer me friendship and just offer me problems. And I said that to them, and they were obviously, that everybody's grown up to a certain degree. But I guess, how did it make me feel? I'm nothing. Nothing. To be quite honest with you.
Not even happy to have at
it
least
felt the same, like, you know, they clearly had no jokes for like a decade.
Your chest,
do you know what I mean?
You know, you said your piece though, didn't you?
I said my piece in, like, obviously a very polite way. Like, I wasn't going to fucking go at them in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, like, it's not going to be like we were in a WhatsApp group, which also stresses me out. Like, WhatsApp groups is just like not my vibe. Like, I never respond. But we'll see. I don't know. Like, if there's effort that's going to be made, do you know what I mean? And people are interested. Like, they were very interested in knowing who the fuck I was now and what I got up to.
Yeah.
But, you know, if the effort's not there and it's just not the way that it runs, then I don't see why I would meet up with them again. I don't know. I think vice versa. If it doesn't offer you something, then why would you? Yeah,
that's true.
But yeah, I think about everything in my life in the same mellow tone.
Yeah.
Which is, it is what it is. And I'm glad, obviously. Like, you do have to overcome certain things.
Yeah.
I
mean, your mother almost had a heart attack.
Oh God, whatever. Anyway, let's not talk about that. So yeah, I just think it's always good, like, if you feel like people deserve, like, or a friend, like, something deserves, like, a second chance, or everybody deserves a second chance, unless you fucking molested somebody or, like, done something weird. Do you know what I mean? Like,
within the boundaries.
Within the boundaries, you know. Obviously, just need to forewarn people on that. I feel like rekindling relationships is not a bad thing. I actually think that it does help you just go, okay, that's because I have, like I said to you, quite fucking clearly wiped out many years of my life out of my head, like, significantly.
Yeah.
I have literally only really seen my life from, like, after that. I've just literally wiped out completely everything from, like, going, and because I had to, like, because I don't think that mulling in the past.
Yeah, you don't want to focus.
You know, your past does not dictate your future, and I just, like, so sick of just, like, mulling in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh God, this is you. It's like, fuck off. Like, that was you when you were at school. Like, grow up. Like, you can grow up. Like, that's the reality. Like, you need to also be the grown up here and realise that how people view situations is not always the same as how you view situations. You know, people have different opinions, different views, very different takes on situations, you know. So just because I've put shit in my head, do you know what I mean? And yes, certain things happen, doesn't mean that there's not another side to it.
Sure.
And I think that there is always another side to it. But yeah, I just think it's one of those things. I don't really think that much about it. Like, if there's going to be something, there's something. But yeah, quite clearly, there was a lot of memories because so many photos came out at lunch, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm actually embarrassed of myself. That's the reason why I've literally ignored the past. Yeah, because like nobody needs to resurface that disaster. Honestly, it's an absolute train wreck.
Interesting.
No, it was. I had a thing of just always having my tongue out in photos, and obviously I thought getting a tongue piercing would also offer me benefit.
Wonder how did your parents allow that? Because that's very not on brand.
No, of course it's not, because I did what I fucking wanted to.
Interesting.
There's the difference, and then they just had to put up with it, and they just had to learn as it went. To be quite honest with you.
Really?
And only until I went to business school and they told me to take out my nose piercing
And you had a nose piercing and a tongue ring.
My nose piercing was actually okay. Everybody said it actually quite suited me, like a tiny stud. It wasn't like a fucking ball ring. But some people really suit nose rings.
Yeah, some people do.
But like, no, I mean, I had a lot of things. Like, I got all these shitty tattoos plastered all over me. Fuck, it's just complete regret. Like, why did I do that to myself? Like, I look at myself and go, you literally have made yourself go.
Do you think if you could go back in time and you spoke to yourself, do you think you could convince your previous self not to do certain things?
No, fuck no, far too impulsive.
So if you saw your future self sat down and you were like, I don't think you should do this, you'd already just be like, shut up.
No, I had to do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, then I guess you can't really. You
just the
really
same as
regret
me
it,
and Mark have got this weird thing because like my ADHD kicks in so hard that I have to do something and it has to be something that's gonna like pump me up. So I just have to like drop down on the floor and do like 12 push-ups or something, 20 push-ups. Just drop down 20 because I just get really weird sensations of having to do something drastic. And that's what used to like cause me. I still got traits of what I used to be like. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it's still me. I've just merged it into different, a better habit.
Channeled it
into better habits. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It is reality. That's it. Like your whole lifestyle. Like you just channel into different habits. You don't necessarily. You might change the way you view things, and you might grow up as a person. But you don't change yourself. You can't. You just might move environment. Do you know what I mean? The only way you can really renew yourself is if you just moved country.
Yeah, it's all about environment. You can't beat your environment. At the end of the day, it's all about those inputs and outputs and your environment and who you hang around with. You are the sum total of like the 5 people you hang around with.
But also we were talking about this with a guy in the gym the other day that we bumped into in the car park at Tesco.
Oh yeah, shout out to B Mello.
Maybe he'll listen to this one.
He does, because I put him onto it because I did reverse psychology and told him that we spoke about him,
and then people wanted to listen.
And then everyone's like, oh my God, I want to listen.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things. Our podcast is one of these things that people just need to understand. Like we love talking. We can literally hold a conversation on so many things. Like, it's ridiculous. But for so long as well, like, we actually have to cut these short. Otherwise, they just would go on for fucking hours and hours and hours. But, our full-time job is coaching, do you know what I mean? This just complements it. Like,
but do you think you would ever get to the point where you would be able to live stream 24/7?
No, I just don't. What the fuck? Like, what do I have to offer somebody? Quite literally, and this is what I've got to like. What do I have to offer somebody?
You do realize that there are people out there that literally sleep on camera and have 100,000 consistent views on a daily basis of people watching other people sleep.
Well, Mark, I actually think those people are slightly weird,
yeah,
and I would like to hope that I wouldn't be like that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not arguing with you on that. I'm just saying there's always an audience for anything in this day and age.
Like, I think a lot of people need to realise that they're just quite irrelevant, and that's okay. Like, why do you want to be relevant? I'd love to know. Like, yeah, you want your business to grow. You want to do all this.
Do you think it's because...
Like, I was talking to you about it the other day, just like how I just...
What's the difference when you walk down that aisle, you hand your ticket over to the person and you turn right or you turn left on the aeroplane, you get treated very differently. And I feel like the people are chasing... Because once you get to a certain level of fame, stature, power, money, success... You get treated very, very differently as opposed to...
I would say yes. Person. Now, slightly different. You'd need a mega amount of money to get people to like really fucking really.
Yeah, I think
like,
the ceiling has increased. Yes, definitely. But there is,
I also think wealthier
vast
people have
difference.
become more and more unpleasant. Sorry, I will say that like a lot of the wealthier people like can be really really unpleasant to work with, like really unpleasant. Their value of money is something very very different to
No, I appreciate that.
like they like I do think it's one of those things though, like and their understanding of money is so vastly on
But
just
the
another page
But
that
the
you just
perception is that they're always treated a certain way, though, aren't they?
well yeah, you just meant to suck the dick, do you know what I mean?
And that's where I feel like that's why a lot of people chase it, because they want
People
the
to suck the
validation.
dick.
Exactly. They want the validation. They want the.
Yeah, but like, I always say this because I just feel like so many people have just inflated their image. And I'll be like so honest about this because I'm like the most skeptical, upfront person about myself. It's almost worrying that I can actually see two sides. Maybe I'm bipolar. Anyway, maybe that was Patricia. Like literally like, but I see very like, I remember when my following grew on Instagram, all this, and I was also around like well-known people. I just couldn't quite understand the same like now, like, what the fuck am I? Do you know what I mean? Like, all I do is really help people. Like, yeah, I change people's lives. That doesn't mean that I like warrant like a cult following. Do you know what I mean? Or like something where people need to be like obsessed with me, or I need to like share in my every move so that you feel like you're ingrained with my life. That's weird. And I've never done that, and I've never built it off of that
but
either.
some people like doing that, though. That's a difference. You don't like doing it, and other people like doing it. There's a difference.
Yeah, and that's the difference between me and them.
Because you get the validation from your social media.
I feel those people are quite narcissistic, though,
No,
like in so many ways.
Of course they are.
And I'm not a narcissistic person. I just am not.
Yeah,
well, I'd like to hope I'm not.
It's just one of those things.
Am I a narcissistic person? Here we go. Hey. Fucking dictator. Am I a narcissistic person?
I think.
Oh my God, you be very careful what you say, because I'm going to call you something else.
I think both of us have levels of narcissism to a certain degree. But
in what sense?
I just think that like in terms of taking constructive criticism, like I'm not very good at that, and neither are you. And I think that can sometimes be due to a perceived.
Depends what the criticism's on. I think I've got much better with that with age. When I was younger, I could never take criticism, but now I don't really get to be honest, I don't really get criticised that often. Maybe because I'm a narcissist. Maybe because I've just realised, no, we don't get criticised often. When was the last time you were criticised?
Who, me, personally?
Oh, here we go. About the dishes.
I've got it written down. Hold on. 8:45 a.m. 7:32.
As I said, I'll repeat. I'll go onto ChatGPT and just print out the paper now. In our new office, I've got a printer ready and waiting. You just sign on the line because you're obviously married to a dictator.
It's fine. I'm Zimbabwean. I was born under a dictator and thrived, so it's fine. That's why you're with
honestly,
me. That's why you're with me. I'm dictator-proof.
I am irate right now because
don't be irate.
You make me out to be like the absolute worst person, and all you do is annoy me all day. I'm actually on a day-to-day basis a fairly reserved person. I can sit and not talk to you for hours, and all you do is wind me up.
All I do is
right, Mark. You're doing it now.
How?
Because you're winding me up because you're about to tell me no, you don't, and you do, and you've literally told me that you wind me up purposely.
Okay, give me.
And it makes my life so much harder than it needs to be.
Give me one tangible example of me winding you up.
Right now.
Well, what am I doing?
Because you're doing a rhetorical fucking question. You're passing the question also back to me again. You do that a lot. Like, I'll say to you.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I say to you, what do you want for dinner?
Yeah.
What do you want for dinner? What the fuck? I asked you. Like, it's like always
But you're a lot more opinionated than me, and generally
Shut up,
no. But
Mark.
can I finish my
Your
sentence?
opinions are probably too
You're a little bit more.
too
Yeah,
bad
so
to
I'm
be
not
said
saying.
publicly.
I'm not saying. But I'm not saying that's a negative thing. But you have very strong opinions, right? And generally, what George's opinion is generally goes.
What?
So why do we have to bounce ideas backwards and forwards when you're going to be the main influencing factor in the first place?
I think that's actual bullshit, or maybe it's the fact that you're just weak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. I'm just weak.
Because how many times do I ask you to come to the table on all these fucking ideas and opinions, do you know what I mean? And you can't ever come to the table. So somebody needs to fucking take action. And those are the people in life that are narcissistic and me. I'm joking.
No,
The point is, Mark, is that you can't always assign when somebody's got shit going and
yeah, but if you
to-
don't, if there's not if I don't have as much skin in the game, and
skin in the game.
yeah, if there's if within my consciousness it has absolutely zero impact on me personally, then why can't I relinquish myself to making the decision and allow you to just choose whatever you want to ultimately make you the happiest wife possible?
And again, you've just annoyed me because you've just put that, and you know there's going to be women listening to this, your clients. Oh God, poor Mark. Do you know, poor Mark having to be put up with Georgia. Poor Mark, he's just such a wonderful guy.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Georgia.
Oh my God, I am. You are
punching. I know. I know it's fine, but it is what it is. I say I'm joking.
I'm about to punch you, do you know what I mean? Literally.
I would love that.
Oh my God, but that's the thing. You do want me to strangle you.
Yeah,
You probably find some fucking weird fetish with it.
I think that could be it, though.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what would make me feel better. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine that. Imagine how satisfied you would be, like physically choking me. I couldn't breathe.
I think I thought that when you were doing
and
the
then
dishes.
When I pass out, all you need to do is just stop choking me.
I think you just need to be aware that I am incredibly physically strong.
I know. That's why I want to try.
Yeah. So I feel like I actually would do.
Yeah, I know you would choke me out, but I think I quite like that. We used to choke each other out at school. It was quite fun. It's like doing psychedelics.
That sounds like Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's just a boys' school thing.
Yeah, it's a boys' school thing. It's choke each other out whilst we're sucking each other off.
Sometimes.
Oh, Mark,
only when
for
the
fuck's
teachers were
sake.
involved.
Honestly.
Only when the teachers were involved.
Yeah, I know. You fucking Zimbo boys had no girls around you for so long.
Soggy Biscuit, yeah. Do you ever remember the game Soggy Biscuit?
No, Mark, because I didn't go to a boys' school. No, please don't. Because you know what?
It was an urban legend that the Borders used to play this game, and like as a form of initiation, everyone used to stand in a circle and then wank over a biscuit, and then whoever ejaculated last had to eat it. And it's called Soggy Biscuit.
No, I'm not okay with that.
And then it really divided the day scholars from the Borders.
No, that's absolutely disgusting. If you've done that, I've actually just questioned our whole marriage.
No, I'm saying the Borders.
Have you done that, Mark?
No, of course not. It was it's an urban legend that was concocted to divide the Borders and the day scholars to make everyone think that the Borders were a bunch of weirdos.
You know, people that are like really anti, anti-gay, anti-this. Like, I actually think are the ones that actually really want to be able to come out.
Every homophobic person
literally wants to do exactly what somebody gay and happy and proud is, and they're literally just like a coward to it. I fully believe that.
Yeah. No.
And that's absolutely nothing fucking wrong with that. Well, it is wrong with that, the way they obviously treat people. You should just be
allowed to express yourself the way that you want, because look at that person that we both know that is in the closet and it torments him.
I don't know
to
who
the
you're
point
talking about.
You know who I'm talking about, the gentleman that used to employ people to work for him.
Oh,
yes.
I'm
and
sorry.
That has driven him to the point of literally being a drug addict, because he's incapable of
telling his parents.
That he wants to live his best life.
Yeah, he should have always been like that, because he would have been in the old. I mean, He's in very good shape. I don't know.
Yeah,
He
he's
was
the
absolute
perfect. He is
perfect,
literally, if you could pick a mold for a gay man, that's him.
I've got like my gay best friends that when I was growing up, like Angus and Jake, they always had such a wild relationship. Angus was way more wild than Jake.
I think generally,
I just don't think we understand like
from
how
being
people actually.
ostracized and criticized
Yeah.
in different generations and stuff like that.
I
But
just don't understand. I don't understand
generally,
why people have problems with people. I just don't. Unless you're a complete cunt.
yeah, but
Do you know what
I
I mean?
think
Like, literally, like,
that's just it. That's you. People
I
are
just
gonna
don't
dislike you
understand it, but it
regardless.
must come from the earths of religion. That's the only
No,
way
it
that I
is, of
think this
course
is
it
all
is.
formed.
Because it is anti-religion essentially, if by a textbook definition.
I actually think that that's bullshit, though. I think that there was definite, like, if we go back, and I'm just not religious, so
Well, if you look at the Romans and the Greeks, they all did orgies, and everyone pretty much had sex with men,
Everybody.
women, children.
Children?
Yeah.
Caecilius, back in that time.
Caecilius, yeah. Back in the day, the Greeks and the Romans were
And the
freaky.
Caecilius was Latin. The Greek, what was
They
that?
were freaky.
Latin. Oh God, that was.
Yeah, it was like known to have like a boy. Do you know what I mean? Like a little boy. It was pretty twisted.
That's yeah, and then you wonder why like people have managed to get away with it so long, and then now people have got just too much of a platform. And I'm not saying people should get away with this. Like, I do think that all the predators that have been caught in the last couple of years are great. Do you know what I mean? All the people that have done all these horrible things to, like... But I also just think it's just formed this whole horrible thing where I just don't think we're ever going to have any normal relationships built if we continue like this.
No, I think that's... Look at the divorce rate is rapidly increasing worldwide.
But people are getting married younger, that's why. People are feeling very influenced to get married and to rush into things. Mark, people's brains have shortened. Okay, listen to this. In the sense of what social media has done to the attention span of our brain is exactly the same as how instantaneously we expect things to happen. So that is why relationships go so quickly from 0 to 100 these days.
Do you honestly think that
so many young marriages
people are getting married?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah. And also, I think the ability to stand up for
way.
yourself, if, say, for example, you don't want an arranged marriage, like we've had clients like this who were potentially up for arranged marriages and like Paul, like if you don't, I think there's a lot more, you've got a lot more, not everybody, I'm talking fucking very minute in the UK in various locations, so please don't take this literally, but you do have more freedom of speech in every sense, or freedom of like choice and opinion. So I think that actually a lot of people, and I think divorce is very expensive, but they're about to make it much cheaper.
I would have thought that less and less people were getting married, statistically.
Well, that being said, a lot of people might be engaged. There's a lot of people engaged, but they just can't necessarily, they don't really want to know they don't know what to do about like getting married, having a wedding and all of that, because obviously the cost.
I think that we're slowly moving in as a society more away from like traditional values towards more like polyamorous vibes.
Polyamorous, fuck. Not everybody's polyamorous, Christ.
Do you think, or maybe is it just because all those programs on television just make it come across like it's so much more...
Mark, literally, like, I've met like one couple that might have weird shit going.
So you think we're still on track with the traditional?
No, I think we know plenty. I think we are associated and know plenty of people that have got a weird sex vibes. Mark, we know this. It's just people don't speak about it. I'm
also basing it off like half the people who trained in London who also were very, everyone was married, but the arrangements
Mark, everybody in our life right now,
fluid.
Somebody's got a weird kink.
Who in our marriage?
Right, Mark.
I'm telling you, it's choking. I want you to choke me out. Maybe after.
I'll choke you out right now, so I can just shut you up over it. But you'd want to be choked out with like your dick like erect, raging in some passion fruit lubed mess. Do you know what I mean? Like some weird kink, like kind of Red Room vibes.
No, not really.
Well, like you'd need like St John's ambulance there in case it went wrong. Like, imagine if that went wrong.
No, because like I said, once you just stop choking, the person comes back to life.
Well,
Not killing
you
them.
might
You're
not.
just stopping them.
Mark, you've got
just stopping-
epilepsy. God, what that stemmed some sort of fucking fit.
Yeah, could very well. We'll have to find out.
No, I don't think we're going to find out. But I'm saying, I think about everyone everybody in our life, in our business,
Yes.
pleasure, family.
Yeah, so many people have got kinks.
So many people have got kinks.
Loads. More so than
I just don't
not.
think people talk about it.
No.
And obviously more people are open, but I do think it takes a certain type of person, like a more extroverted person, to be able to say, like, do you know what? I absolutely love a ramping rabbit, like fucking me up like the arse whilst I use a vibrator. But some influencers are like that now.
Yeah, it's all for attention though.
Just, I don't need to imagine somebody using a vibrator. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck, you don't need to, like, but it's huge. Like, women, sex, for women finding themselves, like, in the sense of, like, women uncovering their own.
You think, cast your mind back to the 60s and 70s, like, there was no avenue for, if you wanted to see gay men, you had to buy gay porn magazines, or there was no, like, avenue for women to express their sexuality.
I hated how you just said
Sexuality. So I guess it's kind of good. It's like it's the first generation of influencing, and it kind of makes sense that if you had a vibrator or a whatever, that you would market it via influencers that are penetrating. No pun intended.
No, don't say penetrating their audience.
Penetrating those markets. So it makes sense, like, and of course,
like, everybody has sex, not children. Obviously, children shouldn't have sex. Although I lost my virginity when I was a child.
Yeah, but as a young boy, I remember everyone wanted to have sex from the age of like 13. Like,
yes, because when you're puberty, like, you're going.
You were trying your damnedest, your best.
Okay, says the one that said that he didn't do that.
No.
This is what I mean.
No,
you come
I
out
didn't.
in this. Oh, I didn't, but I'll talk for everyone else.
No, obviously everyone developed at different ages, and I was very unfortunate looking growing up, so the availability wasn't great.
Unfortunate looking, yeah, but it's better to be less unfortunate looking when you're older than it is when you're younger.
Yeah, well, we weren't exactly lining up around the block, let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the head brace didn't help, but
no, it didn't.
The same as my gold chain that was hanging in my mouth when I had to get a tooth replaced. Yeah, well, do you know what I mean? You don't need to judge people, do you, Mark? Do you know what I mean? This is the way you go at it, do you know what I mean? The tongue piercing, this. Well, you're not with me now, and you're very lucky, do you know what I mean, that you actually have a wife, number one, and that two, that it's me, so the reality is...
I'm very grateful.
Are you? Because you come across incredibly ungrateful.
Why do you say that, though?
Well, apparently I'm a dictator, and it's just better to
didn't
bow
say
down
dictator.
and lick the floor when I tell you.
Dictator of the dishes. There's a difference.
You said in all of my life I'm narcissistic.
I said there can be traits of narcissism, but I also identify those traits of narcissism within myself.
So I'm just going to assign the blame to you, and you're also narcissistic.
Well, I'm just saying that.
Don't gaslight me, Mark. That's literally what you said to me. You're gaslighting me over the dishes.
But you were gaslighting me.
Oh my God, no, because it just didn't have any common sense. Right, we're going to have an argument right now. Right, so
today...
You
don't like it when I say that because you know I'm right, though. It really triggers you because you understand that
right. Okay, here we go.
Like,
rhetorical question to the audience.
Oh, no.
No, we're going to take a very non-biased fucking opinion over this.
It's not non-biased, though.
It's non-biased.
I don't think so.
A, do you wash the dishes where you put the things on the side, you wash the dish and you put it on the drying rack, and then when you've washed all the dishes, you either leave it or you dry up? Or B...
Yeah, cook dinner.
Oh my God, fuck off. Right, this is where you're just pissing me off.
Wash up, pack it all away, do everything.
Oh my God, you're actual bullshit.
Yeah? No, that's not option B.
Actual bullshit. You absolutes. Why don't you go and fix the number plate that's flown off the
Yeah,
fucking
I
car?
need to.
That
I'm
you
going to
said
do
that
that. That's my
spent like £25 on the super glue tape or something.
I didn't. I spent £6.
Yeah, and you went to
83.
WH Smith, didn't you, to go and get strong
No,
tape?
I was at Screwfix picking up the paint that we ordered
God,
so that you could do the touch-up.
Right, today, B. You do it
B.
the opposite way round, but whilst you're also cleaning, you have intermittent breaks where you then rinse things, and instead of putting them on the side, you put them back in the sink once you've washed them. I'd just love to know. I might be wrong, Mark. There we go. Wrong. I'm very open up to somebody tell me, Georgia, the way that Mark is washing the dishes is exactly the way that you should be doing it, and you're fucking wrong. Okay. And I'll say, no.
There you go.
Anyway, today I want to talk, we want to go over just some questions that we get frequently asked in the sense of like weight loss. I guess you call it like myths, do you know what I mean? Things that frequently come up in coaching questions for people that are early in their coaching stages with us, like things when people begin journeys in like weight loss, but also just in the sense of general media, social media, all of this shit that has spurred, I guess, quite a lot of rubbish in weight loss and what it's all about. So what we've done is we've kind of correlated a few very like popular, frequently asked like myths or questions that we get asked about weight loss or what somebody might assume, and then we're going to like talk through the process of it. And so hopefully that can help you, I don't know, just demystify certain things in your brain over certain topics that you probably will have maybe questioned at some point. So where should we start, Mark? I think this is all going to be related directly to weight loss. So it's not going to, we're going to do a more of a nutrition one another point, because that's a little bit different to just weight loss. But I think first of all, we should start a very common one, which is when a lot of the time when we consult with people and we talk about their current lifestyles, we get this thing that they're eating too little calories because they know that's going to help them lose more weight. But what they've realised is that potentially they've plateaued or they're not losing weight. So they think that by eating less and less and less, it's going to mean that they're going to be losing more weight. So is this a myth, you know, the less you eat, the more weight you lose? Or is it something that is actually factually correct?
There's two ways to look at it, because it is essentially factually correct, but it's what is happening to your physiology and body composition when you are utilizing very large calorie deficits. So when you are utilizing very large calorie deficits and eating very minimal calories, your body goes into a catabolic state where you're not only losing body fat, but you're also losing lean muscle tissue, which is metabolically active and going to have a reductive impact on your metabolic rate. That then leads to metabolic adaptation, which causes you to overly plateau over a given period of time, because your body is then having to regulate that homeostatic response of your body expending energy. So when you go and train in your workouts, you don't train as hard, you struggle to get a pump, you find doing your steps a lot more draining, and just your energy levels and your decision making dramatically becomes a lot more challenging. So yes, it works in the short term, but essentially see it like a runway. You could take off, but the runway is so much shorter. It's better to do it in a much more sustainable approach that allows you and affords you a lot more give and take than essentially just, you know, whacking yourself in a 500 calorie deficit off TDE, hoping to lose a pound of body fat a month, you know. Because
no, I think it's more also, I think it's not necessarily like, I think there was always these things that was said on like 3,500 calories would equal like a pound body fat, and for you so that means that you need to obviously deficit 3,500 calories a week in order for you to lose that pound of weight. That's not factually very correct, because a pound of weight could be a pound of muscle or a pound of fat. They take up very different elements in the body. They're not the same fucking thing. That's actually another one that I want to talk about. Fat and muscle. I'm going to write that down actually whilst we're on the podcast. But I think also that thing of like, oh, it's cool to eat less, do you know what I mean? Because eating less means I'm going to... And a lot of people think that those numbers... You know what I also do? I think there's the opposite side of this. Social media has taught us, oh, just eat like in a calorie deficit. And calorie deficit's been fucked, like to the point where people are now eating in such a deficit that they think that that's better, but it's fine. They're still losing weight because they're in a calorie deficit. They're doing it the correct way. And that's the problem with all these sayings, is that, okay, calorie deficit is technically a scientific say. It's an actual factual thing. But what's happened in social media and influence and fitness world and all of this is that the word is now being obliterated. So people are in a calorie deficit, but a hideous calorie deficit. But it's fine. They're doing it the right way because everybody in the industry is like, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. And people are like, okay, I'll just shove myself in.
Technically not wrong though, but it lacks
technically,
nuance. It lacks nuance, and that's what people are struggling with, because everyone's got a successful weight loss journey. The only problem is everyone's regain journey is more successful than the weight loss journey.
Yeah, and I also say to people, like, I'll never forget putting myself, like, I did, like, lemon water diets, where I literally lasted 2 days. I fainted on the tube and I inhaled a packet of kettle chips, a multi-family pack. Your body, if you're going to obliterate yourself, genetically, there'll be a few girls, I'm going to speak mainly for girls here, because I know a lot of girls obliterate themselves at low calories because they think that their friends also not eating, you know, but women, I should say, not girls, but whatever. You know, if you're like doing all of this activity and putting yourself through all of this stress and eating like low calories and doing all these things, like, you're just like very much shortchanging yourself, that you're never going to be able to sustain it. You won't even be able to get past like a week, 2 weeks. Like, you're likely to like lose your period, do you know what I mean? Or some sort of hormonal cycle. And all for the sake of you regaining it. And that's the saddest part, is that you're doing all of this to just regain it. And, you know, so when people say to us, oh, do you know what, tracking my calories and sticking to this calorie allowance, even if it's literally like, we give a lot of people very high calories because that's what your body needs, do you know what I mean? Not very high calories, moderate calories for what their body needs. We're not the low calorie end. But people say to us, oh, it doesn't work tracking your calories, but then they'll put themselves through like some sort of hideous diet or something like that, all in order to do exactly the same thing. I'm like, choose your hard here. Do you know what I mean? Choose the hard of you literally never being able to sustain it and giving up after a couple of weeks or a month, or choose your hard where you do something more sustainable, but it just requires you to just be a little bit more diligent.
I just don't think people see different dieting methods as just different ways of adjusting calorie
No, absolutely not. They see it as
like whatever
boost your gut health, lose the bloat.
Whatever the USP is for that particular method, and they're not looking at the method objectively going, okay, every single day I eat, you know, croissant and then donuts and then a pizza and a couple of beers, and just when I miraculously swap that out for a chicken breast and a salad, you know, it's obviously such a huge dramatic change in energy balance that there's always going to be something that works. And that's the one main thing, is like everything essentially works, but how long does it actually work for is the main determinating answer for the vast majority of the general population. But again, it comes down to people preying on certain marketing AdWords that make people feel a specific way about
it's just very vulnerable
tackling a problem.
The thing is, though, like, the reality is there are, like we've always said, like a lot of people that do need to lose weight. Do you know what I mean? And yes, everybody's got to do it in the right way, but a lot of them won't do it in the right way.
No.
And I think this is one thing I always say is that there's some very lucky people in this world, and I'll speak for a couple of our clients actually, who have been very long-standing clients of ours, who we were the literal first element of any of their journey. So that meant like step any of their journey. So from like lift to everything, exercise, health, wellness, nutrition. We were the first to introduce them to anything. And those clients are so lucky, do you know what I mean? Because they literally were brought into everything where they didn't have to believe or go through the trials and tribulations. But I do believe you've got to go through trials and tribulations, and sometimes you'll never come with the right idea. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, you do have to do that to then come to the terms of, you're totally right, like, nobody's thinking about calories here. Nobody's thinking about a deficit. Oh, all of these diets do a deficit. No, they're not. Like, something like a shake diet or a diet, it's just that's what it is. It's going to make you drop 7 to 11 pounds, and that's there we go. That's it. That's what they want. They're not thinking, oh, but it's going to reduce my intake and I might be super fatigued and I've got one shake a day.
Or just like all the food in your digestive tract just empties. And at any given moment, we have like between 2 to 3 kilos of food in our intestines at any given. You know.
Do you know what really upsets me though? Is that
I watched one guy do a 5-day fast where he just drank water, and he did a 5-day fast. Because he wanted to clear all the inflammation out of his digestive tract, X, Y, and Z. And just like, obviously, he was still exercising, drinking water and stuff like that, but he lost a ridiculous amount of weight in 5 days.
Yeah, that reminds me of
when I went to and that's literally, that's obviously like there's a huge shift in energy balance, but the vast majority of that is just coming from the digestive tract emptying.
I just think also from a nutritional coaching standpoint, I think it's so important. I see a lot of women who are struggling with their weight, who are trying to lose weight, but they change so much in their lifestyle that's so the opposite of what their actual current overweight self likes, do you know what I mean? That it's just completely absurd. I'll give you an example.
Yeah, go on.
Swapping, like, say you're somebody that likes, I don't know, used to like a Pret croissant for fucking breakfast, a granola pot, do you know what I mean? Would have like, I don't know, and a cheese and a fucking cheese pastry or whatever for breakfast. Yeah. And then you go and swap that for a liquid meal. So I'm going to fucking Huel, like something like that.
Or something rank.
Look, food is food, but it's not fucking food when it comes to like that. Like, I don't believe Huel. If that's all you could fucking access, fine. Yeah. If it's fucking that convenient, I would still say just make your own shake. Anyway, like, it's like those massive swaps where somebody wakes up in the morning and goes, fuck me, I've now got to go and drink one of those fucking disgusting shakes. Exactly. And instead of waking up when they could have an egg and bacon muffin, scheduled in with their calories, understand that they're waking up, they're still fucking loving all the food they're eating. It's just, and I'm so hot on this with our clients, especially the ones that have a very big weight loss journey to go through. Why on earth would we take away everything that you seek so much comfort in right now?
Because everyone's got that diet culture narrative just ingrained.
Just get rid of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's just
they have to eat, you know, chicken salad. How many times?
Oh, so many. I say to clients, like, come on.
£1 every time someone says, "Oh, I'm just eating a chicken salad," and I'm like,
we eat chicken salad, but I have homemade croutons, cheese, fucking heavy dressing. Like, I'm not eating like a fucking... Are you eating that
because you actually like chicken salad? By all means, go for it. Chicken salad is, I mean...
If you do a good chicken
Caesar salad with fries and a
by a
Diet Coke
beachside,
is a top tier meal. So I kind of get it. But are you eating it because you enjoy it, or are you eating it because you think you need to be eating... Salads,
yeah. Or like the same as like I'm getting a bit annoyed actually at the moment with the amount of protein marketing there is, because some of these products are just fucking shit, like really shit products with like 6 grams of protein, and people are just inhaling it. We get asked so often on social media, like, what's the best protein? And look, we've shown a couple of them. We're quite nice, but I just think they're too expensive. What they are, they're a cheap source of protein. That's the reality. And I had this conversation with a client this last week. I said, when you're going through like a body recomposition, or you're really trying to get nitty gritty with your physique and you want to see the return, the quality of the protein you eat is so fucking important. And I've had multiple clients get very carried away with convenience proteins, where literally their whole protein is just coming from convenience. And it's like, no, there is a significant difference here. Convenience proteins all do tend to have quite a lot of fillers, quite a lot of all of these other shit. It doesn't digest the same as eating like a good old chicken, steak, beef mince, even the plant-based proteins, you know, like anything like whole foods are so important. That is where your body gets its most nutrients. So when you look at nutrition and you look at convenience proteins, you should really only be thinking of that as your like snack. You know, something that's like a protein mousse. That's what we do. Protein mousse, protein yogurt.
20% of your calorie or protein intake should be from convenience.
Do you know what does upset me though? It's like protein yogurt and protein, like, you know, they're just fucking yogurt. I mean, there's always just been yogurt. It's yogurt.
Yeah, it's just the brand.
Exactly the branding. It's just yogurt. People always say to me, oh, I couldn't find the protein yogurt, so I couldn't eat yogurt. I'm like, it's yogurt. Go and find literally the plain strawberry low-fat. It's the same protein, like, you know what I mean? It's exactly so. They've just milked it into very good branding. And I know it's convenient and it's great. And we really encourage clients that struggle to get their targets in to obviously boost it a little bit. But there is a significant difference and you'll notice it.
Do you think that comes down to why is it that people consistently struggle with hitting their protein targets? Do you think it's coming down to cooking?
No, people don't know how to necessarily
chicken breast. People don't want to cook beef mince.
No. It's not a cooking thing.
So then
it's a fact of people don't know what to eat. It's not a focus point.
Well, it's pretty obvious. You look and go into the supermarket, and all the things that are meat are essentially protein. Not to oversimplify. Do you know what I mean? It's not really difficult. Put a gun to your head. I'm sure 10 out of 10 people.
I'll be honest, people don't know how much to eat of it. They don't know how much. Okay. And this is why, like, you know, when I have a fucking job, do you know what I mean? It's what I do for so many clients. You know, it's so remarkable when you meal plan for clients and they actually just stick in a routine. So our meal planning runs, like, we're not these type of, like, nutrition people that put you into like changing your meals every single day to the point where you've got so much variety. What we do with our meal plans is effectively take your favourites, do you know what I mean? Take your favourite meals, take your favourite likes, dislike, whatever, and we put together effectively like a day structure so that a client can see, oh, do you know what, at breakfast I can have a large bowl of oats with some Nutella, you know, some you know what I mean? I can have like a pizza for dinner. It's just a more nutritionally dense like meal rather than more calorie dense. A lot of people don't see it. Like, they don't think like, fuck, I should be thinking protein here, or where am I going to be getting this? And they just don't know the amounts. Like, how much protein should I be having? Like, that's really hard image wise, like, in the sense of how much it is. We know this. We went to friends, well, not like friends a day, and we were fed at lunch? Like, absolutely nothing.
I thought it was a starter.
Mark thought it was a starter, and he literally ate all of my portion as well. Literally.
Sat down at the table, thought it was a salad, so I literally, just being such a greedy African, took 3/4 of it, put it on my plate. And
all the prawns in it as well. That was the main.
For 4 people.
I know. And me and Mark, we went back into M&S and probably ate a whole packet of goujons.
I was just waiting for I was like, the roast chickens coming out with the roast potatoes, Yorkshire pudding,
because the salad's
gravy.
Starter. Yeah, and then you're like, what?
That's what a delicious, soup starter. Yeah. You're like, do you want some coffee? Or in between courses?
Yeah, they're literally like, oh, so sad.
An aperitif.
But like, you know, it's so obvious that people do not fuel themselves adequately. And like, protein-wise, like, I reckon, like, we've had this conversation. How much protein do you think my father eats on a day-to-day basis?
I would say he would very luckily get 100 grams.
Lucky?
Yeah,
Christ. Lucky. My father has eaten the same breakfast for like 40 years. No, that's such a lie because I've not been around for 40 years. But like, he'll have Alpen, which is literally like the most dust. It's dust, muesli dust. It's not even granola. It's dust. My mum's always like, I just never understand why your father eats that. And it's got like sultanas in it. And I don't know what milk he's on now, but he used to have coconut milk. Maybe he switches the milks. Maybe it's so. And he'll have like this small bowl. Do you know what I mean? Where he'll just have a small bowl of muesli and a coffee for like, and a green tea. Always a green tea and a coffee. And then at lunch, he'll go and get a meal deal. No matter where he is, he'll eat a meal deal, or he'll eat out, like at some, like, when he... And then at dinner, my mum obviously cooks for him now, but when he was travelling, he was just... My dad used to travel all the time, was on an aeroplane, different country. So it was like...
It's not important. Yeah, I would imagine.
I really don't think he gets, like, what's a meal deal going to give you? I don't think he's picking up the roast chicken sandwich. He's probably picking up, like...
You'd be lucky to get 20 grams.
The ham and cheese one that's got, like, 20 grams in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, your average person literally can't top more than, like, 60, 70 grams of protein a day, I literally reckon. No. So go and give them a target that's, like, double than that.
Yeah, true. No,
Christ,
no,
people are like that.
Struggle.
What?
Yeah,
and now I've got to go. People are like, wait, I used to eat half a chicken breast. How many people have we been to? Me and you eat like we could eat 2 chickens together if we really wanted to. Like, not that that's a healthy amount, but we do. We'll eat a whole roast chicken between the two of us so easily. Mark would be like, where's the rest? Like, ideally, I don't eat most of it, and then he eats the rest of it. That's the ideal. But we'll eat a large whole roast chicken between the two of us. Easy. We go to Nando's, we'll see off a whole chicken, wings. Fucking, you know what I mean? We are not afraid of eating like a huge fucking steak. Like, I would demolish. Like a huge fillet steak. Christ, I wish I could afford it. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, in South Africa it was perfect, but like in the UK it's like a
small
mortgage.
Don't even bring a steak to the table that's less than 750 grams.
Oh my God, South Africa was so amazing for that. That's the one thing one of the things I really miss.
Not 500, not 250.
But yeah, protein is so hard to get in, and I get it. Like, you know, especially when you're losing weight, you think, oh, right, what should I be thinking about right here? Fuck, I've got a lot, because I've got to be thinking, Christ.
Do you think it's also because of the cost? That not a lot of people...
No, I absolutely... I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. There are people that struggle. There's people that do okay. Those people that do okay are normally the ones that tell me, literally, and I'm sorry, that tell me that it's really expensive to eat healthy, and they will literally go and spend £40 in 2 days in Pret. Do you know what I mean?
We know people that eat out 3 times a week.
Three times a week? More than that. We've got clients that eat out every day.
Yeah,
but like that's when we have to really rein them in, because I'm like, where are you eating? Like, you've really got to understand that what you're eating, you don't actually understand the calorie count. You've got no understand the protein. And so, like, do you know there's a significant difference? And clients definitely that coach us now will have gone through this with us. When clients do have weeks where they've been, so a lot of our clients are in like home prep meals. Like, we do encourage people to learn how to cook, learn how to prep meals, but we are all about simple, you know what I mean? We're not about make your life harder. It's about making it easier and better. So clients get into routines where they're diligent, you know, and then there might be a week where they've got a vast amount of social plans. And like, even just having 3 socials, 3 dinners out, you notice the fatigue level in the gym because you're not really forget the eating out. I'm not going to hold people back from eating out. It's just what you get from that compared to what your home cook's giving you when you're more meal planned and you structure. Like, we know that I could eat like the fucking best spaghetti bolognese at home because I would make it full of protein, you know, and it would taste restaurant quality in my opinion. It does. So I know I'm going to go eat a spaghetti bolognese, an Italian restaurant. It might taste really nice, but it's going to have like 3 dots of mint, like 3 round balls of mince. That's about it.
And cooked in like 14 sticks of butter.
Yeah, and it's not going to, and so when I'm going to eat that, it's just going to be a plate of pasta, and then I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be starving. So by the time I've like coached clients and I get to the gym to like train, I'm just going to have no energy. And a client of ours actually recently had this, where they went out, I think it was 3, and like the next, they struggled, like in the gym, their energy, their fatigue, and it was just the fact that like you were just missing what you were used to giving your body over 3 quite large meals of a week, and you
generally
just notice.
You eat more not eating out. Would you say that the portion sizes are smaller out than...
Yes, but they're just more calorie dense for the size.
Yeah, no, I'm saying you get
You get way less food eating out.
200% more of the calories, but you get 50%
Like,
less of the
even
volume.
way up, like fries, for example. Like, if we bought a frozen pack of fries, I could have 250 grams of fries. It would literally top like 300, 400 calories at most. If you're having that amount of fries in a restaurant that's been deep fried, you're then effectively eating like 900, 1,000, 1,500 calories.
Like Five Guys, yeah.
Like Five Guys, exactly. So it does make a significant difference. And people always say to me, so fucking weird, you're on your nonsense again. No, it's not. It's literally like, I actually know that I don't want to be hungry, and that's why I don't eat out that often. I'm hungry the whole time I eat out. Every time I eat out, I'm hungry.
I enjoy restaurant food, but I don't, it's not like steps above.
No, absolutely not. It has to be something very, very different that I would not prepare at home, like sushi. I wouldn't prepare sushi at home. It's just, it's too much faff. Although I did buy a sushi maker the other day, another random purchase. But it is one of those things where I do agree that, like, you know, this whole eating out is so social. I never want to hold people back from this. But you have to be aware that if you're on a weight loss journey and you're eating out quite sporadic and you don't actually know what you're intaking, but you still might have tracked your calories outside of it, the reality is that it's just still eating away at that deficit. And if it's about sustainability, your deficit's not going to be massive. So when you do eat into your deficit, that's when progress stalls. So you've got, I always say, just choose your hard, you know? If you've got a lot of weight to lose and you say to yourself deep down, I actually don't think I should eat out, I agree with that. The same as there's some people that should not have access to a multi-pack of fucking chocolates or a multi-pack because they just cannot control themselves over it. So don't buy it into your environment if you can't control it. Sometimes restriction in its best element is actually what people need. So
because again, it's environment.
When I was really overweight, I went onto a paleo lifestyle due to the place that I went to effectively. And that was absolutely what I needed at the start because I was morbidly obese and I had a complete and utter need to not eat like that. Yeah, sure. And it taught me a way of going, I can eat like a brownie, but I had to make sweet potato brownies. I've done it all, you know what I mean? But it still gave me that element of like, yes, was it the right diet? Absolutely no way, but it's
more the change of an environment which took you out of the environment that was triggering you and putting you in the position that you're in to then adjusting it. And people need to also understand that their environments need to change when they go on a weight loss journey.
Absolutely.
So if you're sat there surrounded by friends, family, peers that facilitate you being a certain way, or it's the food availability, like you've constantly got hyper palatable food in your environment, testing your willpower, you're only human, your willpower will break eventually, so you have to remove all of the elements out of the environment because you will never beat your environment ever.
No, because your environment is literally what dictates any kind of habit on a day-to-day basis, and like whether it cements or not. And you know, there's some people, you know, if you're one of those people that says, we have this quite a lot, like, I know that I need to do this, I just know I'm just going to give up. And I'm like, don't waste your fucking time. Honestly, you honestly cannot go into anything. If you went into a job that was just, even when you come in at the start and you want to get anywhere better, I'm just going to give up. Do you think giving up gets you anywhere? It's the behaviour that you action when things get tough, which completely dictate your character, completely dictate your success. And, you know, and it's one of these things that whether it's weight loss or a job or this or career or your children or, you know, whatever it is, you know, if what you put in is what you get out. Do you know what I mean? And if you're going to give up, then the whole thing of like just not doing something, I just don't understand. I just don't understand it. Like knowing that you've got...
I guess it's just like, it's just really difficult for some people, and some people just don't want to do it. And they'd rather just take the easier road of being very comfortable and then looking for comfortability in food, comfortability in, you know, taking your mind off things by doom scrolling.
I know, and it's exactly the reason why people struggle. It's exactly the same reason why, you know, so many people got a voice to share things that which they probably shouldn't be sharing. The same as like, oh, people feel sorry for each other, you know, all the time. Like there's excuses all the time in workplaces why people can't be there and this and that. And it's only because people spend their whole life just mulling around other people's opinions. And they do. It forms this warped perception of things. And they think that it's just too hard, and too hard is not good. You know what I mean? And too hard is just too hard for me.
We've gotten to the point now in society where difficulty is inconvenient and difficulty is a bad thing.
Like, I'm not going to lie, like, we're watching the new season of Big Brother, and a lot of those Big Brother contestants are very overweight. And that is, I know, the general population of the UK. Do you know what I mean?
It's a fair representation.
Absolutely fair representation of the UK. It is. Not celebrity, Big Brother is absolute fair representation. It's not Love Island. And I just think every time we see it, and I'm going to say exactly the same for our absolute favourite programme, Gogglebox, they're incredibly overweight. Some of them not. There's I'd say 20% not.
Yeah,
80%
but it's a representation of socioeconomic environment.
Absolutely, I'm not against it, but can you not see this whole image that keeps on getting put out that is so accepted?
But it is now, though.
Absolutely, and this is what I say about younger generations. You've got the younger generations that are influenced by TikTok, who are like teeny weeny.
But over the years, they're going to be essentially, to sound very brash, but they're going to be a lot more fat people than there are going to be people in shape or skinny or underweight. So you then become the outsider, not the other way around.
I know, it's crazy, because I was always the outsider when I was fat. Always. And it's just changed, and that's in the space of literally...
But the thing is, nobody can deny, whether you're body positive or not, your reptilian part of your subconscious brain still tells you that it does not enjoy being a certain size.
Why do you think people do
against
videos?
It's against our evolutionary biology.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
But why do you think people do videos of like, you know, like what I eat? Like, I've seen so many of these actually. Where
I love them.
What I eat in a day as a fat girl that doesn't diet. Oh my God, it's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, wow,
that is my rabbit hole.
Is it?
I love it.
Mark, you're just encouraging it. Don't say you love seeing fat women eat.
I just like the variety of food, the combinations of foods, the combinations of foods that they put together is utterly astounding.
I know, but it's
utterly astounding.
I get it. I wish. No, I don't fucking wish. I don't wish that anybody had encouraged me to be overweight.
I'm not encouraging them. I'm not encouraging them to be overweight.
No, I'm saying like.
I love the
fact
fact
that is encouraging to overweight people.
I saw her pouring gherkin juice into her coffee and drinking it, and she was like, "This is delicious."
Okay, I don't know what you're watching, but that doesn't seem like what I was. I was just watching like normal people that were just like overweight.
Yeah,
saying,
well, like, oh, this is what I eat for breakfast, and then I went here and I ate that, and I went here and I ate that, and I went here and I ate that. That's.
But you know, when you do watch those videos of like even food bloggers, like you're like, fucking hell, how much have you eaten in a fucking day? I wish I had your job. We've said this. We want to set up a YouTube.
The problem is we have trained those individuals, those famous influencers and food bloggers, and we're the people that then have to deal with them shitting themselves and having bad indigestion and bloating all the time, because all they do is eat different fucking super palatable foods. Am I right or am I right?
Oh.
Hi, my name's so-and-so. I've got 800,000 followers on YouTube, and I do food blogging, and my digestion's really bad. Well, let's have a look at what you've eaten. You've had bareback ribs, and then an acacia bowl. You know, it's like.
Well, okay, so the moral of the story is that yes, I don't think the environments are getting any better or easier for people to navigate, but I just think we all need to just put ourselves towards ourselves.
Yeah, it's not an excuse, it's just you've
Christ,
got to do it.
I'm sorry, I know that people say that obesity is a mental illness. I was mentally unwell, do you know what I mean? I still probably am slightly mentally unwell in many other ways. But I still firmly believe that with a good nutrition that fuels your brain on a day-to-day basis and active exercise...
Do you not think that an obese person would take offence to saying they have a mental illness?
No, but people are saying that it's like people
No, I appreciate
depending on
that.
how clinically obese.
No, I get it. But
if you're
like,
clinically obese, it is
but
it's a
you,
mental
as
disorder.
Georgia, back in the day, someone would look at you and say you're obese. Would you have felt offense at that time for someone to say that you're clinically, there's like something wrong with you?
Yeah, well,
Or
there
do
was
you
always something wrong with me because I was fat. That
No,
was
but
always
like,
this assumption in society. Wasn't even that
yeah,
yet.
no, I kind of get it.
It was
No,
like,
I kind of get
if
it.
you
But
are
it was
fat,
like,
you've got
it's
a
like
problem.
you,
It wasn't.
it's like you're on
But
the
they
spectrum.
say it's about stigma, don't they? So they say that actually being obese, there is that stigma into society.
There is, though. We can't deny it.
Absolutely,
Like,
but it's the same as
a
if you saw
huge
somebody
amount.
with anorexia. You're
Yeah,
probably like, Jesus, like,
and
your brain's not used to seeing, like...
If anything, we're like having trained people that were and have previously been anorexic, the overall stigma from the general population is just as bad, if not worse.
Yes, but also it depends the circles they're in as to whether it's encouraged.
I mean, some of those ladies would walk into the gym and the whole place would stop.
Yeah, I know, but they were there for the right reasons.
No,
so.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just highlighting what would happen.
No, I know, but I think, you don't really see that often anorexic people. You might see people with, like, everybody's got a disorder these days. That's what I've always realised. So everybody's got a fucking disorder. Yeah. Everybody's now got problems. And I honestly think that, like, yeah, we all do have problems, but it's just how much these problems are spoken about. Do you know what I mean? Right, so let's go on to another question because we're going to go through, like, 2 more. Right, another question that we frequently get asked about weight loss is... oh my God. Yeah, this is a good one. Do you have to avoid all sugar to lose weight? So, first of all, I think it's really important to speak about like what sugar actually is. And that the foods that digest your body that turn into glucose are also sugar. And actually, when people say sugar, what they should probably be saying in the sense of like highly palatable food is the mixture of sugar and fat. Not healthy fats, the opposite of healthy fat, like saturated fats, etc. So can you lose weight like eating sugar 150%? Like nobody's forced, like first of all, you're not eating a teaspoon of sugar, are you? You're eating a chocolate bar.
Nobody's addicted to table sugar. That's the thing, is everyone was like, there's the narrative of being addicted to sugar, but if that was the case, surely you would then be just like railing bags of sugar day and night.
Well, I think I'll be honest, I'm going to say a different way to that.
Are you addicted to the dopamine hit or the feel-good factor that is provided to you from palatable foods?
No, obviously the other. But I also think that, if it's obviously completely exactly the same as like taking hardcore drugs for a hit. Do you know what I mean? It's the same the way that we relate, obviously, food. But no, nobody's eating or like needing to eat tablespoons of sugar on a daily, Where the problem comes in is that you can eat a very small amount of these foods that are highly palatable and consume quite a few calories. So if you looked at volumes, for example, but same on like what you might classify as healthy foods, so if you weighed up like a peanut matcha ball, do you know what I mean? Protein ball that has 250 calories and whatever nutrients versus like a dairy milk bar. Which one's probably going to satisfy you the most? The dairy milk bar. For some people, it might be the matcha ball. You never know. They've all got personal preferences. But, like, you can tell, like, what sugar makes up, obviously, things that are slightly smaller. You know what I mean? So, like, a dairy milk bar, matcha ball, they've got high calories, but they're very, small.
I guess the argument would be that the matcha ball would have better nutrients.
Not necessarily. Some of these things are fucking
Not necessarily, but the narrative that is provided to you by the individual making you the matcha ball is that the proponents of matcha and the fucking cacao nibs, that we've
Yeah, but if what you
harvested,
really want to eat
blah blah
and you're on a
blah,
weight loss
is
journey,
it's better than.
yeah, but that's a different question
Do you know
because
what
what
I
I'm trying
mean?
to talk about
No,
here
but
is like
what
the
I'm
actual
saying is it better though? Is it better in the
No,
grand
I'm
scheme of
saying like,
things?
can you eat? Do you have to avoid all sugar to lose weight? No,
No.
you've obviously got to manage your calorie intake versus your calorie expenditure in order to lose weight. How you make your foods up, it's just the fact that it's very easy to overeat on sugar because one small dairy milk bar is like so easy to wolf down within a split second. So palatable that you'll eat another one and another one. And that's the problem. It's not because like that's why if you look at food volume, why we're so hot on it with weight loss, because it gives you more.
But when they've done the nutritional studies in terms of palatability, it's very clear. The more palatable foods that you eat on a daily basis, the higher your calorie intake is, because you just eat more.
Yeah, but you eat more because also it's not very satisfying. So it obviously it digests to your body much quicker, these kinds of foods. So whether you've eaten it, you're just not very satisfied. And that's why, like, if you looked at like a chocolate bar, a better way of balancing that would perhaps be like a chocolate bar that's broken up over like some Greek yogurt with some fruit, even though it might add more calories to the actual chocolate eating, it keeps you more satisfied because it's giving you a protein boost and it gives you more volume, feeling like you're eating more. So you're less likely to then go and binge on a shit ton of chocolate afterwards. But the whole proximity of sugar makes you go, no, it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make you gain weight at fucking all. It's just the amount you're eating that is making you gain weight. Or it could be you're not eating that much, you're just eating some and you just don't move at all. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's all these things where I think people think
it's all relative at the end of the day, though.
Yeah, but no, I do get upset with sugar because I think people need to actually understand what sugar is, you know what I mean? And I don't think people understand what sugar is. There's so many elements of sugar, you know, in the body and like where it comes from.
Complex and simple carbohydrates are just different varying structures of molecules of sugar.
Yeah, of sugar. So, you know,
broken down and like Georgia said, utilized. Everything gets turned essentially into glucose. So the idea that it is bad for you,
and actually, let's just quickly go on to the last one. Let's do the last one of it. Because that would work in quite well with carbs. Do carbs make you gain weight or cause you to be fat, or are they bad for you?
No.
You know, we come back.
Well, I guess the caveat is some people do suffer from adverse interactions with certain carbohydrates that have like got actual Crohn's disease, or you know, people
celiac.
Or celiacs, you know, when they actually eat carbohydrates they die, you know. But outside of that,
no, but celiac's only gluten. No, what are you talking? Oh, Crohn's. I thought. No, but I was talking about like there's other like.
Yeah, I'm saying the caveat to like there are some people that do have who are actually allergic to certain types of carbohydrates.
Yeah, and that's literally 2% of like literally 98% of people.
And then the vast majority, you know, you, me, and every single other person on this planet, barring a very small percentage, are actually perfectly fine and should be consuming.
No, I think we're going to talk about it. So carbs obviously got a bad rep because there was a lot that floated around and about water weight and then making you hold weight in the sense of carbs. So, you know, if you didn't eat carbs, then you would never be retaining like what people thought was body fat is actually water weight when carbs digest in your body. The problem is that I think people don't understand that like carbs literally are your body's main source of energy. If you don't eat carbohydrates, I'll tell you this because I used to do keto back in the day. Fuck, I had like no energy to lift anyway. It's Christ, it was awful. It just, you know, you can't. Let's talk like women and men. Optimal hormone health, optimal sleep, optimal performance, optimal cognitive functioning, optimal. I mean, where else do we go with the optimal? Everything optimal comes from the intake of carbohydrates. Now, it's about where you're getting those carbohydrates from as to which ones are going to really benefit you the most. But does it make you gain weight or does it make you fat? No, and not in any way, shape or form. You've got to remember that a carbohydrate contains the same amount of calories per gram is protein. So whilst you're railing in the protein, yeah, remember that carbs is exactly the same as it, you know. So they've got to be on equal ground here. If anything, back in the day, fat was always known as don't eat fat because you'll get fat. Like fat makes you fat, and it was all just based off the fact that fat contains the highest amount of calories per gram. So if you eat literally just a tablespoon of olive oil, or you drench your food in oil, you would have been literally consuming hundreds and hundreds of extra calories per day. And that's where that whole myth comes from, like fat makes you fat. It's because fat just contains a lot of energy, and it's very, very, very easy to overeat on fat. Like, fuck, it only takes like a slither of cheese to have eaten away like 150 calories, literally. Or like, I don't know, a tablespoon of butter on your toast. And the same with like what we were saying about eating out. But with carbs, like carbs are very equal to protein. If you don't have a balanced diet, like cool, like give up carbs if you want, but then you're going to give up fruit, vegetables, every kind of grain.
So silly. Rice, potatoes,
everything.
Alcohol.
Let's repeat that. Alcohol.
This is the thing. The one thing that really irks me with this whole, I can't eat carbs. But it's like you can't eat carbs, but you can still drink wine and drink beer.
Yeah, I know. Literally. And it's like, I don't understand why I'm bloated. I'm like, you just downed like a whole fucking bottle of wine. That's probably why, you know. But I'll cut out the carbs, but I'll have the Whispering Angel at lunch, you know.
Which doesn't make any sense, because it's like, well, how can you say differentiate between like, rice is really bad for me, but then I can still drink a bottle of wine.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, it's one of these things where, like, again and again and again, it takes wraps to the fact that, like, you know, if you actually ate a balanced diet and you start planning where your carbs are coming from, in the sense of, okay, I'm going to eat a nice pasta dish and I'm going to eat this, and it's going to be balanced with protein, it's going to be balanced with vegetables, it's going to be balanced with fat. Like, your diet is the absolute most optimal, healthy, like the healthiest it could possibly be.
And for people that want to improve their gut health, you know,
obviously fibre, like if you don't eat
grains and fibres,
if you don't eat carbohydrates, you don't get fibre.
The most essential proponents for a healthy gut flora. And when they've looked at the gut flora studies of people that do the carnivore diet, who essentially just eat meat, no carbohydrates or vegetables, their gut flora is decimated.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, if you cut out carbohydrates, good luck having like a good solid poo or like anything like that. You've got and your digestion is just all over the fucking shop.
Your energy levels are really low, because every single person that we've worked with that have taken them off a low carb diet, the first thing that they say that their energy levels have just skyrocketed. Which has a very positive impact on their training, because it goes from like, oh, I've got no energy. There's nothing worse than trying to train really hard and you're just knackered. It's really soul destroying.
Yeah, I know, and I also think that people always do this and nobody ever does it for a very long duration of time. And I'd just like to ask you, like, then don't do it.
But the people, like even the lady I consulted with today, talking about previous weight loss attempts. Okay, so have you lost weight before? Yes, I have lost weight before, and then I regained it all the way back. Okay, well, the conversation that we're currently having, you're framing it like that weight loss attempt was successful. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's gotten to the point now where so many people have tried so many things and had success and failure, but yet we still keep on coming back to the same, revisiting the same problems of carbohydrates and...
I know, and it's always assigning blame places. And I think it's the same as, I think we'll end today's podcast on, like, I think it's the same as when people have Princess and the Pea syndrome, where, like, it's like you're literally avoiding everything that could possibly, and, like, completely and utterly dialing in on, like, the things you don't...
Why do you think people do that, though?
Because it's just like they never want to self-reflect.
But do you think it's because they
somebody's going to go like this?
Completely... Do you think that person is not conscious, but
Your average person will see on their Apple Watch that it would have been bought for Christmas in 2014 by their husband. You know what I mean? In the box, they'll be marking against, their energy expenditure. So people are like, oh, do you know what? I've burnt 800 calories today. Wow, do you know what I mean? I think I'll treat myself to some fucking nice Chinese tonight. Do you know what I mean? I'll eat those 800. 150%. That's what I used to do. It's the only reason why I used to go to the gym.
Interesting.
Like, it's one of those things where I feel like and that's why we always have to tell clients, like, don't get obsessed with these watches. They're not you. They're not fucking inserted in you. It's taking a heartbeat, okay? That's literally it. You're inputting the rest of the data. All it's taking is a heartbeat, okay? So yeah, you can create a trend, but like taking your calories literally and then eating on top of them. Like, loads of people do that in justification. I think many people are consciously not conscious. That's the other way. It's like, I knew.
Yeah,
you're
they
fucking
know.
not
They
dumb
know,
when you're
though.
railing a
They do
line
know.
of fucking donuts.
They do know, though, don't they?
I think clinical obesity, when we talk like the levels, have absolutely no understanding because effectively their receptors have been nulled.
Like the person that is 105 kilos, 50% body fat, but hand on their heart, I eat 800 calories a day.
What do you mean?
That person, like, are they conscious? Are they consciously?
No, we're not talking about food plans though, like
No,
where
not-
you're consciously aware of what you've eaten in a day. Like, nobody is. That's why you have to track, and it's a
I'm
horrible
just saying
awakening.
the discrepancy between real life and the narrative that is pushed from the individual.
Like,
Are they consciously aware that they are?
no, like half the people that have kids that are not unconsciously aware that they eat all their children's food when they don't finish it, or like when they go into a shop and fuck, I'll be honest, like there's a neighbour of ours who's quite overweight, and she tells us all the time that she's intermittent fasting and she's doing all of this, and that she needs to go and quickly get her meal from M&S so she can get it into her feeding window. And I look out the window and she's eating a cookie and a pastry out of her bag. Literally, she's just parked up. She gets in, she's eating pastry before she even gets inside.
Before that 1 o'clock window.
And before that window closes of the intermittent fasting, and
Mental.
but she said to us, like, because one of our other neighbours said, but didn't you eat just earlier? And she said,
she's a second meal,
she was
second
like,
roast.
she was like,
yes.
she's like, no. Oh yeah, but like not that much. Do you know what I mean? And the woman was like, "You just ate a whole fucking roast at the pub. What? That's not intermittent fasting."
Yeah, and then she was having a second lunch.
She had to get her meals. She felt so restricted by the time feed. She feels so restricted by the time feeding windows that she rams in this obsessive amount of food within the mat, and you can see it because you literally see it in the car. I'm not joking. Reverse. Wow. She doesn't even get out. The seatbelt's still on. The engine's still running, and she's literally eating.
And you're saying that.
And I used to do that. I used to eat in private the whole time.
She's unaware that she's doing that.
Mark.
She's aware that she's doing it, but she's unaware that she's doing it. Do you know what I mean by that?
Do you know, like I said to you, I hate the fact that yesterday morning, I'm due on my period, which means I'm just like craving everything and anything. I went into Costa before going to a client's in London, and I like picked up a coffee, and I saw, like, I don't even like the cake in Costa. It would be like shittest waste of calories. But I saw like a whole chocolate cake that was like a fresh one. And I was thinking, fuck, why do I know the calorie amount of that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because it's grating on me. And I like, why am I an adult? Why do I have like good self-restraint to not just literally inhale that at 6 a.m? Do you know what I mean? Like, and you just think that I've just had to literally teach myself. Me and you, Mark, are completely and utterly secretly obese.
Yeah, I know.
Like, we could happily, easily, barring the exercise, I wouldn't like my performance to go down. That's the only reason why I'm not obese. I like, because I fucking love food. I love food. Yeah. I love cooking. I love everything about food. Eating. Fuck, I love unrestricted eating. I love but I do, and it's just like, it's not a bad thing. Food is like it's always been a massive part of my life, and all I think about sometimes is food. It's not a bad thing, it's not food focused, just I like food, you know. But we've got to bring in some sort of self-restraint. If you want to, just live your life with some kind of self-restraint. and two, have some kind of level of health. And I think actually, not many people are like that.
No.
Like even when like I remember because we introduced my mum to tracking her nutrition properly rather than doing stupid things. And when she's on it, she's on it. And when she's off it, she's fucking off it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like when she's, I noticed such a big difference. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
there is though, because
it is
consistently having digestional problems and issues to them going away overnight.
That is, and that's why I say to so many women, digestion is the biggest thing that comes up with us. It's like my gut health, my bloating. I just feel so bloated. And I'm like, okay, well, bloating is like completely and utterly solved. If like, how do you eat a day? Oh, well, sometimes I won't eat breakfast and then I'll have like a pain au chocolat. I would have had about 4 coffees, no water, orange juice. Then maybe I'll have like a salad at 4. And then, I'll go out for dinner. And then you're like, okay, so where do you think your digestion is optimal? And then the next day, what do you do? Oh, I'll have breakfast at 7. I'll have eggs and an avo. Then I'll eat lunch out and I'll have dinner at home. Okay, well, your body's like, what have you just eaten? Where's that come from? And it's the same. So getting people into, that's the only time that I think timing is relative with nutrition, is that just getting those adequate meals in at adequate times is so important.
Keeping everything regulated.
Keeping it regulated so that your digestion is regulated. God, we could talk about this for hours, but we're going to do another podcast on this. For now, that's us. We're off. We're off, everyone.
That was I feel like we're ending this very abruptly.
Are we?
Okay, maybe say a few more sentences.
It's like what? Like a prayer for everyone.
Yeah. Would you like to finish off harmonizing?
No, Mark, I don't want to do that. Don't irate me. Anyway, from me and my irating husband, do you know what I mean? We'll speak to you at some point soon.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.